Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's Monday, April 8th. You're watching News 2 on via Channel 4 and 504. I'm April Knight. Topping our stories tonight, it was no lazy Sunday for the Water and Power Authority. WAPA was dealing with island-wide power outages on St. Thomas, followed by a major water main leak on the waterfront. On the power outage at 9:45 on Sunday, power went out across all of St. Thomas and St. John. According to WAPA, 2 generating units failed at the Randolph-Harley power plant on St. Thomas, tripping multiple feeders and leaving homes and businesses in the entire district without power. The outage lasted until mid-afternoon for St. Thomas and into the evening for St. John. On the water main leak, a 24-inch water main broke along the St. Thomas waterfront. St. Thomas resident Herman Vanderhyde caught a video of what that looked like from the air. It was a serious leak, and when WAPA crews tried to excavate the pipe on Sunday night, they had trouble because of 2 underground electrical distribution feeders that run parallel to the damaged water main. So they had to make changes on the electrical side so they can get around to repairing the damaged pipeline. According to WAPA, repair work is likely to extend through much of Monday. Here's more.
What happened isn't exactly clear. These are aged cast iron piping. This one 24 inches in diameter. It's a 24-inch main that basically runs the entire length of the St. Thomas waterfront and is the main water line that brings potable water service out of the subbase area where it's generated within the footprint of the power plant and then distributed via a vast network of distribution lines and auxiliary pumping stations. Pretty much anything from the east of Polyberg along the Sugar Estate Road, Sugar Estate, Thomas, the area known commonly as Tortola Hill, which is the hillside behind the Oswald Harris Court housing community, the OHC housing community itself, the Long Bay Road coming towards Mandela Circle, Haven site, and a portion of Frenchman's Bay to include Estates, Bellevue, and Baccarat. Those are all areas that customers over the last 24 hours have either seen low water pressure or no water service, especially in the higher elevations. If I was to venture a guess, based on where they are now with the repair work and the beginning of recharging the system, I would say somewhere around 6 or 7 o'clock this evening we can start to see a restoration of service. It'll come into the lower elevation locations first, and eventually, as the system is completely recharged, the higher elevations will resume. We'll see a resumption of potable water service. When the rupture occurred, there was a sudden burst of not only the sediment in the pipeline, but also all of the dirt and rock and other silt around the pipeline in that trench under the waterfront bulkhead. So you had a sudden ejection of that sediment and that dirt and rock, but at no time was there anything that would have contaminated the water, the ocean water. It was merely rock, silt, dirt, and sediment from the inside of the ruptured pipeline that got ejected forcefully because of the pressure on that line into the harbor, and eventually it spread across a large area.
Now, because of the water main leak, the Department of Education announced that Adelita Cancrine Junior High canceled classes today because of the water service interruption. Cancrine faculty and staff were told to report to work, however. The department will issue an update on the status of school for Cancrine on Tuesday, April 9th, when information becomes available to them. The Charlotte Amalie High School and Lockhart Elementary Schools were also affected, according to the department, but both campuses have cisterns that can be used in the meantime. We'll keep you updated. Over on St. Croix, a large fire burned through large areas of land. One of the affected areas is near the art farm. The area near the Great Pond is also affected, and if you drive along the South Shore Road, you'll see scorched land going for miles. According to witnesses, the smell of smoke was overwhelming when the fire was at its peak. The St. Croix Fire Service came out to stop the blaze. Residents also came out, while some suspected arson. Chief Kleber Titus, the Virgin Islands Fire Service chief on St. Croix, said that they cannot say there was foul play involved. And while it may seem like there were 3 separate fires, the fire may have been started as one incident, and because of the direction of the wind, it spread to multiple areas, according to Fire Service. The fires destroy more than just trees and brush. According to residents, it also destroys fencing around the farms, which cost money to replace. Chief Titus reminds residents that there is currently a burn ban in effect across the territory because this time of the year is conducive for fires like this to spark spontaneously. Also in St. Croix, through a partnership between the St. Croix Foundation and the Coca-Cola Company, both farmers and residents will benefit from the Farm Tienda initiative. The initiative will award eco-friendly containers to farmers as a vehicle for bringing their businesses back online following Hurricanes Irma and Maria, as well as provide a hub for residents in the wake of any future storms. Stephanie Brown has more.
The St. Croix Foundation and the Coca-Cola Company has partnered together to provide support to the St. Croix agricultural community in the form of a pop-up farm stand.
Well, we at Coca-Cola, right after the hurricanes, reached out to the St. Croix Foundation and the Virgin Islands Good Food Coalition to talk to them and understand the true needs of the St. Croix community following the hurricanes in 2017. And working with them, we identified that one of the biggest needs or areas of opportunity was the farming community, the agriculture community here in St. Croix.
A prototype farm stand was displayed at the St. Croix Foundation's annual Food and Wine fundraiser on the Frederiksted dock.
Project of such is a great opportunity for farmers here in the territory. This is a pop-up farm stand where it's a roadside stand where farmers can sell produce and can secure produce so you don't have to haul them home every night.
The St. Croix Foundation was awarded a $100,000 grant from the Coca-Cola Company to replicate a pilot initiative done in Puerto Rico, and the Good Foods Coalition, a local farming advocate agency and longtime partner of the Foundation, will be responsible for collecting data in order to evaluate the community and economic impact of each farm stand.
So this project really was done in Puerto Rico first as a pot tienda, which was a model to give small business back the infrastructure that they lost in the wake of Hurricane Irma and Maria. What we did is look at how we localize it and how we use it to meet our needs. And so one of the things my organization did in the wake of the storm is we interviewed farmers, and we found out that there really wasn't a lot of assistance that they could apply for. So when the pop tienda or farm tienda opportunity came up, we really said, you know, like, if we could support farmers in helping them get back their infrastructure, that would be a great thing for this community.
6 farmers will be provided an opportunity to utilize the tienda, but each aspirant will have to submit a competitive application.
It's great that the organizations are working together to help us farmers, because we really need it, and we're real happy that it's going to be out there, that it's going to be out in the streets, and we're real excited. Maybe we'll apply and we'll see what happens.
According to the foundation, the steel containers will also be outfitted with solar panels, Wi-Fi, and potable water to allow farmers to stabilize and expand their businesses, while also providing community hubs in the aftermath of future storms. For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
The St. Croix Foundation hopes the project, such as a farm tienda, will inspire more community stakeholders to identify and support similar innovations and sustainable rebuilding strategies that leverage existing community assets for long-term stability. Well, Governor Albert Bryan added new members to his executive team. He recently named Richard Evangelista, a native of St. Croix and longtime attorney, as Commissioner of the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs. Evangelista currently serves as an Assistant Attorney General with the Department of Justice's Paternity and Child Support Division. According to Government House, Evangelista brings almost 25 years of legal and managerial experience to the agency that is critical in generating revenue for the territory. The governor also named former VIPD Director of Intelligence Ray Martinez as Director of the Virgin Islands Law Enforcement Planning Committee, or LEPC. Martinez is a 12-year veteran of the police department. He served as the department's Director of Internal Affairs and Labor Relations Manager, and as Director of Intelligence, where he developed the Criminal Intelligence Unit and its policies and procedures. Turning our attention to the VIPD, on Sunday, a St. Thomas man was arrested for assault domestic violence. Police got the report of the assault in Estate Altona on Sunday morning. The female victim told police that around 3 in the morning, Eliandro Martinez forced his way inside her home and made advances toward her. They had a verbal altercation that turned physical, and when a neighbor tried to intervene, Martinez took the victim's phone and left, only to come back later other. Another fight ensued, and the victim said that Martinez grabbed a rum bottle, broke it, and cut it on her arm. The victim sustained several lacerations to her right forearm, according to police, and at 1 p.m. that day, police arrested Martinez, who is 20 years old. They charged him with third-degree assault domestic violence. No bail was set, as per the domestic violence law. Coming up next, remembering victims of gun violence on St. Croix, plus Virgin Islands firefighters are getting specialized rescue training that involves hanging from a rope when we come back. Welcome back. It's Carnival month, and we'll have highlights for you on the various carnival events as the month progresses. And there are certainly a lot of fun cultural events slated for this month. But this isn't so fun for people working downtown. No parking at Fort Christian parking lot on St. Thomas until May 13th. St. Thomas Water Island Administrator Avery Lewis did announce alternative parking for St. Thomas residents. He said they'll be opening the outfield area of the Lionel Roberts Stadium starting on Monday. You can park there Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30. No parking on Saturdays, Sundays, or during inclement weather. All vehicles must be out of Lionel Roberts by 6 p.m. on weekdays, and you'll get a traffic citation, and your vehicle will get towed if you don't abide by that rule. And that's at your expense. A parking attendant will also be present to direct motorists. Crimes of violence continue to plague the territory, but the local community continues to draw attention to the issue. Over the weekend, St. Croix residents gathered to commemorate the loved ones that they lost to violence and to call for an end to the bloodshed. News 2's James Gardner has that story.
On January 5, 1999, 21-year-old Jahil Gomez was shot and killed in the Ralph de Chabet housing community on St. Croix. 14 years later, his mother created Our Loved Ones Are Alive in Our Hearts to organize the community to rally against gun violence and in support of loved ones left to mourn. Now in its 6th anniversary, the event helps the whole community deal with the loss of friends and family while showing their resilience with a march. The march began at Strand Street and ended at Bud Ho Park, where there were musical performances. And a rally.
Today is our day. God bless Aisha for this invitation. That's my neighbor out in the rainforest. She tell me, make sure you come. I tell her I will be here. Once God give me life, I will be here. Because this is important to each one of us. I want you all know that we are a one. You don't have to go to school to learn what we need to understand. Every single one of us know. It is we on the inside, we who make up this place they call the Virgin Islands. We right here at St. Croix. If you don't help us to grow, if you don't help us to develop, how in the world is the Virgin Islands going to amount to anything?
Gun violence has been one of the major problems affecting the territory. As of April 3rd, there has been 11 deaths in the territory, 7 from St. Croix, 4 from St. Thomas. Of the 11 deaths, 10 were from guns. For News 2, this is James Gardner.
Well, if you think the VI fire service is just there to put out fires, that's where you're wrong. Our firefighters are actually involved in a lot of rescue situations, and some of them involve really tricky spaces. Last week, thanks to our friends from the VI Fire Services as well as the City of Reno Fire Department, we got to witness what it takes for local firefighters to learn the ropes when it comes to a specialized type of technical rescue involving ropes. Some 16 St. Thomas and St. John firefighters went through the rope rescue training last week using the Schneider Hospital building on St. Thomas. They simulated a scenario where they're lowering a patient over a wall. There is, of course, the height factor. Scaling a wall is not easy, much less scaling a wall while supporting an injured patient in a basket. But there are also things like making sure their anchors are secure and the tripod used to lower the patient or lift the patient and rescuer are firmly in place. They needed to learn some math and some physics concepts as well. It's definitely harder than it looks, we know, because we tried it for ourselves. But according to lead instructor Jim Bolton, this kind of training can be instrumental in a lot of situations and save a lot of lives. And he said our VI firefighters definitely stepped up to the plate. Here's more.
This training is for a small group of firefighters within the fire service to give them the knowledge and the skills on how to use the special equipment to effect a rescue. They want to do it safely, they want to do it efficiently. Rope rescue is a basic foundation of technical rescue that would be used for confined space rescues, auto accidents where vehicles have gone over embankments, people have fallen into cisterns where the use of a ladder won't work. The rope rescue allows rescuers to go into these spaces, put people on a device to get them lifted out, and then the ropes then get used to lift victims or patients and the rescuers out to safety. Our goal is to get set up and going as soon as we possibly can. As you're seeing in this situation, we don't have suitable anchors in the most advantageous spot, so we have to rig our ropes, put our systems into a position that are going to require multiple perspectives on how to get that in the right place. That's what takes the most time. In this class, we're teaching them how to effect a rescue while still actually hanging from a rope. So sometimes to gain access down to a patient, there's nothing to stand on. So we have to teach these guys how to work, treat a patient's injuries, package them, all while hanging from a rope. It's pretty challenging. One of the biggest advantages to provide this type of training to the fire service members is that when somebody gets hurt, the injury that they've sustained could be very serious and life-threatening. They may still be alive, and they may have a head injury. They might be going into shock. If the rescuers take a long time to get the rescue effected, the patient's condition will continue to destabilize. The technical aspect of this type of training is very technical. It involves a lot of math and understanding some basic physics, and if you don't use it, it goes away.
After the two Category 5 hurricanes, the St. Croix Food and Wine Experience was back for 2019, celebrating the people, the land, the culture, and the incredible food of St. Croix. Annually, food and wine enthusiasts look forward to the month of April. Each year, the week of events is hailed as one of the 10 best international food and wine festivals by Forbes Travel. The event series engages local chefs, celebrity chefs, cooking show personalities, and top winemakers from all around the world. The culinary events support the community programs of the St. Croix Foundation. On Friday, the foundation hosted its Sunset Barbecue on the Ann Abramson Pier. Attendees enjoy the breathtaking view of the twilight in Frederiksted while mingling with friends and family. Many travel bloggers and magazine writers were on the scene to capture the unique experience. Well, stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Well,
Well, good afternoon. I hope you had a nice day today. The weather is looking great. We have dry air in place, so it's going to remain mostly just sunny and beautiful. But of course, we can't rule out a trade wind shower popping up. We have a strong high pressure system to the north of us, and it whips those winds right across the island. And that's when we see those brief light showers popping up from time to time. Now, the good news is we do have this cold front that's moving across America. It's going to be pushing off to the east, and that will be disrupting that high pressure system. So we expect to see those winds kind of die down throughout the week, and it's going to be very pleasant throughout the week with dry air in place and very light trade winds. So here's a closer look. A couple of clouds moving across. Again, could see a very light shower popping up, and that's the case for tonight at 75 degrees for the low. Tomorrow we'll have sunshine with maybe a cloud or two. Again, could see a brief shower. 84 degrees for the high, and in St. Thomas 84, and in St. Croix 86 for the high. Some sunshine with perhaps a stray shower. Now, as far as the boating conditions, it is pretty choppy out there. There is a risk of rip currents, so check with those local beaches. But the waves for the Atlantic side 3 to 5 feet, and the winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots. Caribbean side very similar. Those waves 3 to 5 feet, winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots. And again, this should be weakening as the week progresses. Taking a look at the extended forecast, well, expect to see sunshine this week. Don't forget the sunblock, those sunglasses as you head out the door. You'll need them. Temperatures holding pretty steady, around 85 degrees much of the week. We jump up to 86 on Saturday. And those lows, they're hovering right around 75 to 76 degrees. Have a great night.
Thank you for that. When we come back, News 2 Sports with Gary Anthony. Stick around.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. The Final Four has come down to 2. The University of Virginia Cavaliers will take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders tonight for all the NCAA marbles in Minneapolis. This year's tournament has been filled with controversy regarding the officiating, and Saturday night's Virginia-Auburn matchup held up to that end of the bargain. After Auburn has staged a furious comeback and they are now up by 2, Virginia's Ty Jerome dribbles the ball off his foot, picks it up, then restarts his dribble. In any other planet, that's a double dribble. Turnover, and the ball goes back to Auburn. But not this time. And in the same sequence, in the closing seconds, with Auburn up by 2, Virginia's Kyle Guy is fouled. Maybe. And he calmly sinks all 3 free throws as Virginia wins 63-62 and plays for the national title tonight. Here is Auburn coach Bruce Pearl.
There are lots of calls during the game, and you're going to get some you're not, and some you're not going to get. My advice as an administrator of the game is, if that's a foul, call it. Call it at the beginning of the game, call it in the middle of the game, call it at the end of the game.
Virginia will face the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who absolutely put the clamps on Virginia State to the tune of a 61-51 victory. It's the first ever appearance in the NCAA title game for the Red Raiders. So who's going to win? I expect a low-scoring game. Both teams play stifling defense, so points will be hard to come by. Therefore, well, I'm going to go with Texas Tech. That's it for sports. April, back to you.
Thank you for that, and that's it for our show tonight. We're live on Facebook and YouTube Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7 p.m., 11 p.m., as well as on Via Channel 4 and 504. Follow us on social media, tag us on stories you want to see on the news, or send us a message on Messenger. You can also email us at newsdirector@tv2.vi. Thanks again for joining us on News 2. I'm April Knight. We'll see you next time.